Man, I've been doing this 26 years. I've been training 26 years. I decided to go pro 3 years ago. I haven't lost since. I've never lost as an amateur. I never lost as a pro. And I'm not just talking about the MMA aspect. Kickboxing, I never lost as an amateur, never lost as a pro. Muay Thai, I never lost as an amateur. I didn't fight pro Muay Thai. Jiu-Jitsu tournaments, every Jiu-Jitsu tournament, I always got a gold medal. Like, I don't lose. I don't know the feeling of losing. I only know the feeling of winning. These guys here, look at them. They look boring. They look normal. They don't look extraordinary. I'm everything they never had, you know what I'm saying? I'm the biggest thing that's ever going to happen to martial arts. I'm here to make history.
What's the emotion? Nerves, excitement? What is it?
Nothing but excitement right now. I've trained my whole life for this moment. Obviously, I'm happy to be here. I'm happy it's finally here. I've been preparing for over months now, and the energy's good in this room. You know, everyone's hopeful, but I'm ready to go out there and put on the show.
You want to see what you can do? You want to see everybody kick especially too? So it's not just punching, okay? Show off a little bit. Show us what you got.
At the end of the day, they're going to pick the best undefeated fighters. All these guys that are walking around with their chains and their women and stuff like that, it's all fake. All these guys that are pumping themselves up with their headphones in as if they're going to go into a fight. This isn't a fight. This is what we're meant to enjoy. You know, this is the part of it that isn't tough right now. You know, pump yourself up when you get into that fight. Right now, this experience coming halfway across the world, being around all these top fighters, you shouldn't have to eye anyone out. You know, this is great. You know, you got some of the best undefeated prospects in the world here. Instead of kind of looking at all of them like potential opponents, you know, we all got to give each other some respect and go in there, and whoever comes out on top comes out on top. You know, all these guys that are saying, "Oh, I ain't never gonna lose. I never lost a jiu-jitsu match. I ain't never lost a MMA fight," and all. We're all gonna lose eventually, and I guarantee you, someone's gonna lose on the mats today when we grapple as well. So we'll see what happens. You know, I just think everyone needs to take a little chill pill, have some fun. When they get into the house, same thing, have some fun. When you get into the octagon and the cage door shuts, that's when you get serious.
How about the fact that it's all undefeated fighters? I mean, does that change the level a little bit? Or, I mean, because you know everybody in here is the real deal, right, if they're walking in with unbeaten records?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, what better way than to be able to go out there with all undefeated fighters and really let people know that you're the best, that you're not fighting people with a few losses on the record, or you're just going to go out there and showcase that you're definitely top notch and you belong to be here.
You're back here in the tryout room. You know, you mentioned your boyfriend did a lot for you to support you, and now I guess the shoe's on the other foot, right? So what's the feeling like being here in support?
Well, at first when I got back from the Ultimate Fighter, I told my boyfriend that he could never, ever, ever go to the Ultimate Fighter because I'm never leaving him again for 6 weeks. And here we are trying out for the Ultimate Fighter again. But it was just kind of destiny, you know. We've already been through this entire process. We already know how tryouts are going to work. I've been in the house, you know, he was at home. Like, we already know all the ins and outs of what's going to happen. He's an amazing fighter. You know, I told you guys so much that he's helped me, you know, just unconditionally. He's 10-0 as an amateur. He's 3-0 as a pro. And then they said 145 weight class, and we were like, oh, it's destiny. Like, now he has to go. So I couldn't even tell him he couldn't anymore. So, you know, we're back down here, and so he's going to give it his all and hopefully go through this entire thing again.
What advice do you give in terms of getting selected, getting noticed? I mean, is it about fighting? Is it about personality? Is it about, I mean, what advice do you give?
Oh, that's a difficult one, because I'd like to say it's all about skill, but you both know it's a complete lie. It's about marketability, honestly, and how you sell yourself. So it should be about, hey, who's the best fighter? It's about who's got the best personality and the skills to match it.
What do you think about this concept they're going with this year? If everybody in the room is undefeated, does that kind of like change it a little bit? You know that everybody in here is legit.
It changes the intensity a little bit, I think. But then again, there's a whole lot of 3-0 people in the world. There's a whole lot of 4-0s, and it depends on where they got their wins at as well. So it changes the intensity, as in everybody's going to have a much bigger chip on their shoulder. So we'll see how it goes.
You know, you've got guys in the UFC. Here's a chance for somebody to make it to the UFC. I mean, is this still an important, you know, opportunity for fighters?
Man, I think it's fantastic. Anytime a fighter gets a platform to get to the stage that they want to be at, you know, even if it's kind of an accelerated, you know, pace. A lot of these guys are pretty new, you know. I think it's a great thing. You know, they get their feet wet, get in the door, and then either evolve and grow or get cut. But I think it's a very good thing for all these young fighters.
For you guys as fighters, what does this show still mean?
It means opportunity. Look around, you'll notice that it means a whole lot. You have people from everywhere that show up to try out. This is their dream. It's a dream of everybody that gets into MMA to make it to the UFC. So this is their opportunity.
I think that the Ultimate Fighter is just huge in a fighter's career. It can literally change an entire fighter's career. I probably wasn't even getting thought about for the UFC, and then we made it on the show. Got to do some great training and some great learning, and then now we had a fight in the UFC. So it can literally be life changing for a fighter, and just for everyone involved with that fighter. With them being gone for the whole 6 weeks and everything. And in the end, I think it just makes everything stronger and better for that person and everyone around them.
This is what started the UFC. This is like the centerpiece of the UFC. Without the Ultimate Fighter, who knows how big the UFC would really be? So for these guys that are saying that we should get rid of TUF and stuff, man, they need to sit back. If they don't like it, don't watch it. This is a great opportunity for fighters, and look at all the stars that have built from TUF in the past. This is a 27th season. Okay, maybe for a few people it gets old every now and then, but we've seen stars born even in the last couple of seasons. We just had a flyweight champion crowned. Now, that season alone showed that you can never count someone out. No one ever thought that Nika Montano was going to win that show. I think she was the 14th or 15th ranked seed. She came into that show, and it just shows that on their day, any fighter can do anything. It's a great story, and it just shows that the underdog can come out on top. So with a show like The Ultimate Fighter, it brings a story. It brings more feeling to the fight that I think we need in MMA. I think people need to understand the fighters, need to speak to the fighters and see the fighters more in that sense. Whether it's good or bad, we can learn more about these fighters through The Ultimate Fighter. I've been a big fan of The Ultimate Fighter for a long time. I wasn't a fan of coming onto the show. I was a fan of watching the show, and even if I get rejected today and I don't get through, I'll watch it till season 50 or season 100. As long as it's around, all these people in this room and all the people that appreciate mixed martial arts will be watching the show.